were they assessed as a private hydrant owner as opposed to a public fire hydrant, to put it out. And then the question comes, and I really think we have to take a look at it. Should we be assessing these property owners as a private hydrant, even though they're paying property taxes like everybody else in a condominium complex, as a freestanding unit or as a residential unit? So I'd like to pursue it a little bit further, just to find out exactly where they're located. Are all the specifically the condominium complexes, are they all being treated the same? If so, then at least we're consistent. If not, then why not, and how did it become treated? I'm not sure that they're not. And then maybe we want to revisit it, maybe we don't. Do we think it's fair? Because we've actually restructured, we've done a lot more now in the front of restructuring the rates in order to have it pay its own way, and it's cleared up the deficit to the point where we now have a surplus. So that this was a measure that was taken a few years ago before we restructured the water rates and let the balance out the account. So maybe this measure isn't as necessary as it was previously needed from a revenue standpoint. In the interest of fairness, most of the condominium complexes, through the developers, agreed that the roads weren't going to be plowed by the town, the trash wasn't going to be picked up by the town. Yet they're getting assessed pretty high assessments and paying their fair share of taxes, and to be assessing them for a fire hydrant, for fire protection, maybe it's time for us to revisit it. Maybe you can afford it, maybe you can't. I think we need to quantify it first. I don't know what everybody else is.
Well, I think your request to look at it in more detail to understand the fairness of it all, and I think that's
First,
clearly
right.
first step.
Right.
And then after that, we can, based on that information, we can have another discussion. Good. Decision.
Right. Very reasonable. Get that information back to the board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, to quickly over new business, Mr. O'Leary.
That was what I had for all the new business. So the only thing that I have to say is it appears as though we're going to be journey from this public session in less than 2 hours, and I just want to make note of the fact that Mr. Vito is not here this evening. And I know that whenever I'm not here, he makes note of the fact that we tend to get out of the meetings earlier, so I just think we was fair game tonight.
But you've
But he
been
doesn't
your
do it
share of
publicly.
dragging the meeting.
And I did tonight. I did do my fair share. So, nothing else, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Jeff?
Yes, I have two things I want to share with the community, and I believe each of you are aware of this, but the North Reading avoided $110,000, $700 in tipping fees for the year '09. This is successful due to the recycling committee, and they have been doing a spectacular job, and I don't recall if it was in the paper this past week, but was it? Okay, good. But for those who don't get a chance to read these things, it's important to understand that there are people in committees throughout our town that are putting their best foot forward to save the community money and give us opportunities to have programs that we can support with that money. Also, the ECC had a very successful meeting recently in which they've identified about 35 projects that they're going to try and see if we can have a return within a year and a half, 2 years, that maybe we can implement shortly, and which will save the town money as well. It's another committee within the community that's working very hard. So I think it's important that we all know that there are a bunch of committees, a bunch of people, common everyday individuals, doing the best they can for the town. So I just wanted to share that bit of good news.
Thank you. John?
Chair, the only issue I have is recently our assessing manager, Faye Ingraham, had come to an FAC meeting discuss a number of issues associated with the assessing department. The one issue that she brought to the attention of the FAC, which I think this board, I would encourage this board to take a look at, was that related to trash exemptions. She had indicated that in her research when she came on board as the assessing manager, she reviewed trash exemptions. And her understanding was the original intent of the board back in 2002 was to limit trash exemptions to elderly and low income. But what was adopted by the board back in 2002 was an all-inclusive exemption that far exceeded the limitation of elderly and low income. And based upon her review, she had determined that between FY03 and FY09, the trash exemptions that were handed out totaled in excess of $64,000. She recalculated based upon what she believes the original intent of the board back in 2002 was. She indicated that if it was limited to elderly and low income, the exemption amount for that same time period would have been only $9,500. So I think it'd be worthwhile for this board to revisit that issue to determine whether or not the actual original intent of the board was actually what was adopted. And if there was an error there, I believe it should be corrected. That was the one thing I had.
I think that deserves follow-up. Certainly. I don't have anything. Just one issue the board should be aware of is that on or around October 1st, the youth services funding is going to run out, and we're going to have to make a decision as to how to deal with that. There's no proposals, but that is an issue. Basically, the rest of who's been funding it not going to be able to raise funds. And they did say when they proposed this program that they were going to fund it for 2 years, and I guess that doesn't really make it cost.
And any proposals as to going forward? I mean, if you recall, Mr. Chairman, you were here, the board did not recommend creation of the board or the position at the
Right.
time.
For
the very reason that,
I have a thought
because
on it. I have a thought on it.
because we figured we would end up in this situation after 2 years, and here we sit.
I think that